So you see that bare spot on the inside of the fender well there. That's where I'm going to try to attach my fuel filter. Now, I've already screwed up and I've got this tangled around some stuff I don't want it to be tangled around. So I'm going to have to disconnect this and try and feed it through in a way that it won't be entangled with everything else. I already had to pull back the coolant overflow line because I had it tangled around things I didn't want to have it tangled around. But I am going to disconnect this on this end of the fuel filter. Hopefully I won't spill a lot of gasoline, because I tested that a while ago, and so that filter is probably full of gasoline. I rarely have complaints about Summit Racing parts, but I bought this kit to mount the fuel filter, and the kit looks really nice, and they give you mounting screws for it, which I have one right here. The problem is they don't give you nuts to go on the end of it. Now, at first glance, looks like it might be a 1/4 inch fine thread, but I've tried 3 different fine thread 1/4 inch nuts. They go on a little bit and then they stop. So I suspect that might be a metric, even though the mounts are made to take a 1 3/4 inch fuel filter. So I'm going to be able to mount it and put these in and just tighten them that far. I'll put 3 of them in, drill the 4th hole, make sure it lines up, and then I'll have to go get some nuts to fit these bolts that are correct. There's another small issue that I'm going to run into, and I guess it's a bad assumption on my part, because right now, coming out of that fuel filter, I have an angled fitting, 6AN, and that assumption on my part is that the angle fitting was just a fitting that screwed into a straight connector for the fuel line, and my plan was I was going to connect this fuel pressure gauge in line there. Well, it turns out that this is one piece to here, so I'm going to have to put it in and mount the fuel pressure gauge this way, which isn't the end of the world, but it's not really the direction I wanted to mount it. So I'm going to have to move some hoses here. I'm going to be disconnecting that and trying to keep gasoline from going all over the place. So I probably am going to shut the camera off for that, and once I've got that under control, maybe I'll turn it back on. So clearly I underestimated the amount of room I was going to need on that fender to mount this bracket. This is 3.5 inches, probably over 4, the entire length of the thing. So what I'm thinking now is maybe I'll make a bracket and just mount these to the bracket, which will move my fuel filter out and actually make the gauge easier to line up and to read. So that's going to be my plan, I think. So this is going to take me more time than I expected. I've got a coffee can sitting under that fuel filter connection that goes between the fuel filter and the throttle body. So hopefully I can capture all of the fuel that might spill here. If not all, hopefully at least most. Got a paper towel underneath the fuel filter at the lip of the can, trying not to scratch it so much. It's been months since I tested this probably, so at least a couple. So maybe it won't spill too much fuel. Not a drop out of there. Slant it down into the can just in case. And I'm going to get this line that goes to the throttle body up and out of my way. I've taken a few things out of my way. I've taken the heater hoses that are not connected yet. I've taken the one transmission cooling line that's not connected. And I've moved as much as I can the air conditioning lines. There's a couple of them. So trying to make it a little easier for me to work. One of the things I'm going to have to be concerned with when I make this bracket is to make sure that when I put it on, I've got room for the air conditioner compressor because it fits right here. So that doesn't appear to have leaked any gasoline. That might be a good thing, because if that's the case, I may not have to worry about any siphon action from the fuel tank to this hose here when I disconnect it. Cool. Not a drop. Now, I guess I can take that can out of there. And I think maybe the way to go for right now is to find out where that air conditioner compressor is going to sit, so that when I make my bracket, I'm out of its way. I think I'm going to want this to run about there. So that's good. Fortunately today I brought the air conditioner unit down with me. I have to unbox it and see about putting that on so that I can manufacture a bracket.